The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but it is life lived without a purpose. And the greatest thief of your eternal purpose is a scattered and ungoverned mind. You see, I have spent decades observing the human condition, and I have watched countless individuals chase shadows. They are chasing things they do not truly want because they have never discovered who they truly are. They say with their mouths that they want peace, but they wake up every morning and immediately dip their souls into the digital waters of chaos. They claim they desire wealth, but they spend their days becoming experts in the anatomy of poverty. They say they want love, yet they spend every waking hour rehearsing the scripts of rejection and betrayal in the secret chambers of their minds. And then they have the audacity to wonder why life keeps delivering to their doorstep the exact experiences they have been practicing for. I need you to understand a law that is built into the very fabric of your existence. Your attention is not just a preference. Your attention is creative. It is generative. It is the single most powerful currency of the spirit that you have been given to exercise dominion over your life. Where you place your attention consistently, that is where your energy must flow. And where your energy flows, that is what must grow. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but every single time, because laws do not have bad days. I used to think I was unlucky. I used to believe that the world, or perhaps even the Creator, had it out for me. Every relationship I entered seemed to end in the same wreckage. Every job I secured felt like a trap for my potential. Every opportunity I touched turned into a disappointment. I kept asking the wrong question. I kept asking, why does this keep happening to me? But that is the question of a victim. The question of a leader is, what am I consistently focusing on that keeps demanding this pattern to manifest in my reality? You see, I was focused on betrayal, so I unknowingly trained my eyes to seek out traitors. I was focused on scarcity, so even when abundance was standing right in front of me, I was blind to its presence. I was focused on what could go wrong, so my mind felt obligated to make sure things went wrong. It was not because the universe was punishing me. It was because I was training my mind to seek and create those exact experiences. Your brain does not know the difference between what you are looking for and what you are running from. It only knows what you give your attention to. If you spend your mental energy replaying old arguments, your brain thinks you want more conflict. If you spend your thoughts calculating how people might hurt you, your brain thinks you are ordering more hurt. It is not being cruel. It is being obedient. It is a servant giving the master exactly what the master has trained it to find. I remember sitting in my car one night, completely broken, completely exhausted, and I had this terrifying moment of clarity. I realized I had spent the entire day thinking about bills I could not pay. I woke up thinking about debt. I worked thinking about debt. I went to sleep thinking about debt. And I wondered why money felt so heavy, so impossible, and so far away. I was giving debt my entire consciousness. I was married to lack, and lack was being a very loyal partner. That night I made a decision. I decided to practice a different kind of focus. Not a fake positivity, not a religious pretending that I wasn't struggling, but a strategic and intentional governance of my attention. I started asking myself, what do I actually want to create? Not what do I want to avoid, not what I am afraid of, but what is the vision I want to build? And let me be honest with you, it felt ridiculous at first. Focusing on solutions when the problems were screaming at me felt like lying to myself. Focusing on opportunity when the obstacles were piled high felt delusional. But I stayed with it. I practiced it like a skill, because that is exactly what it is. Focus is a skill. Attention is a muscle. And the tragedy of our modern education is that most people have never trained that muscle for a single day in their lives. You have been taught to read and write. You have been taught math and history, but nobody taught you how to direct your mind. Nobody taught you that your thoughts are tools, not truths. Nobody taught you that where you look determines what you see, and what you see determines what you believe, and what you believe determines what you have the power to create. So you go through life as a passenger in your own mind. Thoughts come and go like uninvited guests, and you think that's just the way it is. But it is not. You have more control than you have ever been told. You have the ability to choose where your attention goes, and that choice is the difference between a life that happens to you and a life that you deliberately design. I started small. I started with 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the morning where I refused to check my phone. 5 minutes where I refused to think about my problems. 5 minutes where I sat with the version of myself I wanted to become, not visualizing some fantasy, but feeling into the character of the person who had already solved what I was dealing with. The person who was calm, capable, and clear. And something shifted. It wasn't overnight, but it was gradual and certain. I started noticing things I had never seen before. Opportunities that were always there. But I had been too focused on the crisis to notice them. People who were willing to help, but I had been too focused on betrayal to trust them. Ideas that could work, but I had been too focused on failure to even try them. Your focus is a spotlight, and most of you are shining it on everything you don't want. You are highlighting your pain. You are illuminating your fears. You are giving center stage to your doubts. And then you are shocked when that is all you experience. I am not saying you should ignore reality. I am not saying pretend problems don't exist. I am saying you must stop giving them your best energy. Stop rehearsing worst case scenarios. Stop practicing disappointment because you are getting really good at it, and whatever you practice, you will eventually perform. There was a time in my life when I was obsessed with what people thought of me. Every conversation was a performance. I was analyzing how I came across, wondering if they liked me, if they respected me, if they were judging me. And guess what? I attracted judgment, criticism, and rejection. Because I was so focused on it, I invited it. I made room for it in my life. Then I shifted my focus. I stopped caring about being liked and started caring about being honest. I stopped trying to impress people and started trying to understand my own purpose. I stopped performing and I started existing. And the strangest thing happened. The right people showed up. The people who were meant to be in my life found me, and the people who weren't meant to stay left without a struggle. This is how the kingdom works. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is determined by what you focus on. If you focus on growth, you become someone who grows. If you focus on gratitude, you become someone who attracts abundance. This isn't just theory, it is the mechanics of the mind. Focus shapes identity, and identity shapes reality. I have met people who are obsessed with injustice. They see it in every headline and every memory. And while injustice exists, because they focus on it so intensely, it becomes their entire experience. They cannot see beauty. They cannot see progress. They cannot see possibility because their spotlight is fixed on what is wrong. And then I have met people who have experienced the same pain, but they focus on resilience. They focus on the lesson. They focus on who they are becoming because of the fire. And their lives look completely different, not because they had it easier, but because they chose a different focus. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a product of your focus. And I know that sounds harsh to those who want to blame the world, but blaming the world keeps you powerless. Owning your focus gives you back your power. I used to blame my childhood, the things I didn't have, the love I didn't receive. But as long as I focused on that, I stayed stuck in that story. I kept recreating the same patterns. Then I made a choice. I decided my past was a chapter, not the whole book. I decided to focus on who I was becoming. My past didn't change, but my focus did, and that changed everything. You have a limited amount of focus every day. It is a resource like time or money, and you need to protect it. Most people are wasting it on things that drain them, things they cannot control, and things that don't matter. And then they wonder why they feel powerless. Without focus, you cannot build anything. Without focus, you are just reacting. But when you take control of your attention, you become unstoppable. You don't need more talent. You don't need more luck. You need more focus. Successful people are not just lucky, they are locked on a target. They ignore the critics, they ignore the distractions, and they stay on their target until they hit it. Focus requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of the friendships that drain you and the habits that hold you back. I had to let go of identities that no longer serve me, not because I didn't care, but because I cared about my purpose more. Your focus determines your future. If you can see where you are going, your focus becomes automatic. But if you are scattered, you are living in survival mode, and survival mode never builds a legacy. I decided I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to create. I started auditing where my energy was going, and I was horrified. I was giving hours to things that didn't matter. So I started cutting. I started saying no. I started protecting my mind like it was a sanctuary. And when I focused on health, my body transformed. When I focused on learning, my mind expanded. When I focused on building, my results multiplied. You cannot master anything if you are distracted. You cannot become anyone new if you are still staring at who you used to be. Every great thing was focused into being. And if you want something great, you must focus it into being too. Stop letting the world steal your focus. Stop being a spectator in your own life. Be the director. Decide what gets your energy. Plant your seeds intentionally, water them with your attention, and watch your life flourish into the original intent for which you were created. This is the hour of your mental liberation. If you are ready to stop giving your power away to distractions and start focusing on the vision God has placed in your heart, then I want you to make a public declaration right now. Leave a comment below saying, I am reclaiming my focus. Do not let the thief of distraction steal another day of your destiny. Like this video to seal this truth in your spirit, and subscribe to this channel so we can continue to walk together in the discovery of your true purpose and leadership potential. Your focus is the key to your future. Let us turn that key today.